Good afternoon, and it's a Saturday afternoon, and I'm back in the shed working on my Honda, and what I'm going to do is heated grips. And the reason I'm laughing is because I've already done the heated grips. There they are, look, here it is. See, I've already done them, but what I didn't do was a bit of an intro as to what I'm doing, because when I did the heated grips I did a full service as well. That video I've already published and is uploaded, and at the start of that it shows me taking off all this plastic, which is a bit of a faff to get to the airbox, but I needed all this off to run the wires as well as doing my air filter, which out of the service was the only thing that needed doing. Anyway, so I'm not going to strip it all down again just for the sake of an intro. There's two push out studs here, to the other side. There's these two bolts here. There's those two bolts there which undo the mechanism, the locking mechanism here, and takes that away, to leave this whole area empty. There's a screw here, and you need your battery box off if you're doing your air filter. Yeah, you only need that off if you're getting to your air filter, because that's got the two screws at the back of the air filter. For the sake of doing heated grips, as I say, it's two poppers either side, the two top bolts, the two bolts here, and two on either side here, two Phillips screws, and then these plastics will come off. This black plastic will come out the way, and your locking mechanism will be disconnected from your plastic, so you'll be able to take your plastic right out the way. The locking mechanism will hang down here. Possibly include some footage of when I did the filter to show those bits. If I have, you'll have seen them, and you'll know that I'm going to do it, because I've already said, if you don't see them, I ain't going to do it. Depends how lazy I'm being in the editing. But yes, this is the finished article that I'm just going to show you how I did the heated grips on my NC700x, which is still in dire need of a clean, bless it. But yes, there you go, there's the intro. Heated grips on my Honda, and it was fairly easy. One of the difficult bits was, because I'd never done it before, taking all this plastic off. I mean, it's so convoluted, it's so aggravating, it's so time consuming just to get to the airbox. I mean, the other bikes, I know they're both Suzuki's and they're both beautiful and gorgeous and lovely. What a fleet. And all you need to do to get a fleet like this is work 56 years, well no, hang on a minute, that's a lie, 38 years, and get the permission of your wife to be able to take your motorbike licence, and scrimp and scrape a couple of quid to one side, and you can afford a fleet like this, which is immense fun. It is immense fun. But yes, as I was saying, on the Suzuki's, you lift the tank, there's 10 screws, air box is open, air filters out. This is very much hard work. It wasn't that much hard work on the V-Strom, I don't think. But anyway, it's done, and what follows is me fitting heated grips. So sit back and enjoy. Or stand up. You can stand up and watch it. You assume whatever position you want to watch the following footage of me fitting heated grips. Thanks in advance for watching. Okay, next part of the heated grip journey. Now I've got access to the battery and somewhere to route wires, it might not be too bad to. I've got a nice bit of framework there for the front cowl, which would be nice to be able to group the wires up and cable tie it to and hide it out the way. But first of all, I think I'll get the bar end off and cut off the throttle side, which is usually the more complicated one, because sometimes you've got to alter the throttle tube. So I'll get that taken apart and sorted. Anyway, that's the bar end off. Now to get the grip off, let's probably a good 10mm more than that one. Right, might have to do the O-ring trick that I did with my. I'll have to do the O-ring trick, just to use an O-ring or two as spacers so it's not interfering, so the bar end isn't interfering with it, but we'll find that out when we get there. These are fairly worn anyway, these grips, and whatever coating, whatever cleaning agent they put on at the bike sales place has just left them really slippery. There you go. So I need to definitely take off this collar here and test fit the grip, and then this collar here will have to be dremeled off as well, probably, so it goes full distance. So let's get the Dremel. Okay, so I've trimmed off the collar off of there. Went a bit deep in a couple of places, but I think it'll be okay. Once the grip's on, no one will see that. And if it's that bad, I'll sell the bike. So I'm just going to Dremel off of this. I think that'll be enough. Get the grip and do a test fit. Wow, that is going to be tight. Let's trim a little bit more down the bottom here. Right, let's try that. That's a bit better. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. Right. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna bother with glue, because that is already very tight. I'm gonna get my mallet and give that a slap. Hopefully I don't get halfway and it gets wedged. That'd be funny. Famous last words. Alright, that's definitely on there. Let's try and... yeah, that doesn't want to turn at all. It's beautiful. Right, bar end can go back in. Right, that's just a couple of O-rings there. See how far that holds it out. That's not enough either. Judging by that, it wants about 10 on there. Which don't really, you can cut the end off the grip. I don't really want to do that. Might have to though. Right, I'll have a think and I'll tell you what I decide. Okay, I've tried pulling the insert out because there's like a, I don't know whether it's just broken or whether there's meant to be this lip that stops it turning, joins up with the inner lip and stops it turning, or whether that is indeed broken. I think it's broken, to be honest. There should be another bit out there, and then you have your rubber bit that is compressing it and holding it. Anyway, I've tried to pull that out more. It's unsuccessful. So either way, even if I got this far enough, it wouldn't be right. So I've got to cut this end off. But unlike the Oxford grips, the R&G ones don't actually tell you how much you can get away with. I would assume, we're going to find out very quickly here, that you can take this whole end piece off. So that is what I'm going to do. All it does say in the instructions is cut it off with a Stanley knife, and I don't think you're gonna. Well, I suppose you would cut that off, cut that bit of plastic off with the Stanley knife, but that's going to have to come off, because taking that bit off the end makes no difference if the plastic is still there. So that's coming off as well. So yes, could well be immediately fucking these grips up. Right, I'm not going to show you, but that don't look too bad. Oh dear. Right, now we're cooking. I'm going to take a couple of these O-rings off. What's that give us? Because I've pulled the insert out, that needs knocking back in again now. So I'll give that a slap as well. I think I was a bit too keen with the knocking that in. Right, I think that's it. I think we're there. We've got a nice gap that throttles reacting nicely to. If anything, I might be too close to the thingy, jiggity, boggity, boogity housing. If anything, I might be a bit close to this housing. Yeah. Okay, that kiddie's on. So next, clutch side. Okay, pretty much the same again for the clutch side, except it shouldn't have so much fun putting the grip on, because obviously this goes straight to the handle. Well, not obviously, but it does. It goes straight to the handlebar. Right, new grip. And that is, again, really tight, so I don't think I'm going to need glue. Obviously the difference with this one is it doesn't. I think I'm going to put some thread lock on this side, because it's not going to pull it in Then I'm going to put some thread locker this side because I don't think it's going to pull it in far enough for it to join with the bit inside. As I say, there's a ridge on there which joins up with the ridge inside. So I'm now thinking the other side wasn't broken. That's how it's designed. So I'll just put a little bit of thread locker on there. Now I need to figure out where to route the wires and indeed have the control box. Unlike my NC700, I've obviously got some handlebar that I can use the handlebar mount on this kit. So I think that's what I'll do. Yes, so let's see where I'm going to set up the control unit. Although saying that, I might actually stick it here, mainly because it will just keep it out of the water. Yes. Is that redunculous? Might be. See what it's like on there. Even with the rubber adapter, it doesn't seem to want to be tight enough in there. That's what she said. No. No. Is there another one? No. That's a bit shite. Or, as I say, up the front here, stick it on there. Where we run the electrics. The electrics are come along here. I've got a nice bit of framework that goes out to the headlight, holds all that nose cone and everything, so I can quite easily run it up that, and then I've just got to leave enough loose for the handlebars. Okay, so I've mounted the control box up there, and the reason I didn't go in the middle was the wire coming out of it was getting slapped by the ignition, so I didn't want that happening. So I've stuck it up there. Now I'm just going to cable tie it to the nose cone fairing. Plastic? No. Plastic? No. It's not plastic, it's metal. The nose cone fairing support bar. And I want to pull it in tight enough that when the steering's turned, the handlebars are turned, the top yoke doesn't interfere with it. So it needs to be relatively tight. He says, doing it up. Oh, without even put the cable in there. Too much trying to talk about what I'm doing rather than actually doing it. Right, where can we go? Through there. Get the cable in it this time. That would definitely help. And as I say, I want to pull it far enough out the way that when I turn that, there you go, there's just that little bit of room there just to get the yoke past without interfering with anything. chop the excess off. That's what she said. And then we got one, the other one's done a runner. Which one's this? It's the one from this side, there's the other one. So that's the one. So that's the two connectors. There's not much left on this one because it is stretching from the throttle side. I don't believe there's any difference in which one plugs where, due to the fact that they give the same output both sides, or it gives the outputs the same both sides. So what I'm going to do is stop crushing my torch. I'm going to cable tie them to where the switch electrics come down, and then they meet the framework. They meet the framework down here, the metal frame, and I'll stick it all together there, bunch it all up, and then I'm ready just to bring the power from the battery, which is a run of probably a foot. So there's going to be a lot of bunching up there. He says, where did I put the power line? There's the power line. And again, that's cable tying it to the original electrics, because you don't want to be cable tying it to your throttle cables or your brake lines. That would be stupid. Well, I say you wouldn't want to be, perhaps you would. It's your bike, you crack on with that. Right, now I'm going to get the power line run, so I know where it's going to, how much I'm going to bunch up at the back. Probably what I should do is cut off the excess. Right, so this needs to come through to the battery, which is down by here. So extra bit of lighting on there. So that's the battery there. Obviously got a cover that goes over that. So I want the minimal amount of wiring coming through. It has got a little cubby hole here that your tool roll goes into. I think we've got plenty of room to play. It's just this, the big old fuse box, making sure that's out of the way. I think I'll feed it up that way. And then I'll take all the excess through and cable tie that. Oh, see you later. Cable tie that to yeah, see, you're not balanced now, are you? Let's try that angle. Yeah, sorry, take all the excess through and bunch it up and cable tie that to the framework at the front, so I really have got the minimal amount back here for the battery. Right, as I say, the power, that's enough out there, so I'll leave that to there, and then I'll bunch it up pull them out of the way for the minute. So I'll bunch all that up together, something like that. And that can be cable tied to the frame. So that's on there. Now we can plug the power lead in like that, and now we can look at bunching that wire together. Let's go. Right, so bring that on, that on, that one, like that. And that's like that. And just make sure, now just make sure there's no snagging. I think if anything, got a little bit of a there. No, that's all right. Yeah, I think job's a good one. So just got to connect the battery now. And try it, I think. Okay. So, I don't know if you're going to see this properly. Oh, that's why it's so dark. The light above has gone out. Let's get another light above. Right, that's a bit more brighter. Now, the awkward bit is, you don't seem to have much in the way of getting the battery out. Ain't got much on the okay, now that's done up, isn't it? One of the things I've done wrong is I've put the bike up on the lift, which for most of the job has made it, what is it, it's only 6 or 8 inches off the floor. Well, it's actually made it just that little bit too high for me. So a little bit of a silly manoeuvre there. It could have well been better with it on the floor, and at this particular point on the side stand. Yeah, I think the nut has gone back. That's what I mean, you can't really, you ain't got the manoeuvre on the fucking, all the leads to affect so there's nothing. There's nothing, no extra on that. Let's take these stupid fucking gloves off. They were definitely getting in the way. So the nut bolt is probably just long enough to get hold of the so to put that on, you're already having to push the battery back in, and at that angle it's not letting the nut come forward. I'll tell you what, Honda, although the frunk has proved to be quite useful on many occasions, it doesn't make up for the fact that this really is a goddamn awful place to have the battery. Now probably someone is going to tell me there's an auxiliary plug that you can use to plug in. No, I just ain't getting hold of it. Get off. So I can't. So I mean, the bolt is just, once you put the two connectors on, it's just not long enough. Should be though, shouldn't it? If at first you don't succeed, take it to a garage. Has that got it? Yes. So cheekily, I've taken the washer off the battery connection to make up for the fact that the heated grips connection is going on. Wasn't that cheeky? Yes it was. So let's cheekily do the same the other side. Now we found out what works. Right, that's all on. That one's tucking in there somewhere, but we'll sort that in a minute. Let's just... Well, we've got power. Have we still got... There's my key, there's my key. Well, that all looks good, no F1s or anything. Let's see if they get up to temperature. Right, I'll leave that a little while and I'll bring you back if it gets up to temperature. Especially the throttle side where I've cut that end off. So that's them fitted. I've had the bike running. They've both come up to a nice temperature. I've only had it on for about had them on for about a minute. Had the grips on for about a minute. And had the bike only running for about 20 seconds. So they've come up to a nice temperature in that time, which is quite good. So now just got to rebuild, and that's the grips done.